Okay, we are in a new series, and I was very happy to get this guidance to do it. We are going to be talking about power all month. And, you know, we get, after I was given that, and I started getting all these insights and downloads and information coming to me about power, and I thought, this is just amazing. And we need to work on this. One of the things that Spirit brought to me, which I'm going to read to you from my phone, it's long, but you can listen. This was a Katie McManus post. She did not write it, but she posted it, so I want to share it with you. And this was, you know, the perfect things come when you're on that road. So here we go. This is our heads up. Dear human, you've got it all wrong. You didn't come here to master unconditional love. That is where you came from and where you will return. You came here to learn personal love, universal love, messy love, sweaty love, crazy love, broken love, whole love, infused with divinity, lived through the grace of stumbling, demonstrated through the beauty of messing up, often. You didn't come here to be perfect, you already are. You came here to be gorgeously human, flawed, fabulous, and then to rise again into remembering. But unconditional love? Stop telling that story. Love and truth doesn't need any other adjectives. It doesn't require modifiers. It doesn't require conditions of perfection. It only asks you to show up. Do your best. That you stay present and feel fully. That you shine and fly and laugh and cry and hurt and heal and fall and get back up and play and work and live and die as you. It's enough. It's plenty. Is that beautiful? Okay. So when you read that, you are unconditional love. You came from love. That's where you're going. This is, I want our takeaway to be. And then you might say to me, well, what does that have to do with power? How do you think love moves through you if it is not directed by your power? Love, when we're in unconditional love, isn't it sweet, warm, and amazing? But for it to now become creative, for it to become expressive, it has to move through your personal thoughts, your intentions, your desires, to take that love and direct it. That's your power. That's your personal power to move, to do these things, to create the messy, to create the happy. Do you understand? So understanding and beginning to own that we in and of ourselves are here to learn how to have a powerful consciousness is so important. Does it sound odd to you? Does it sound okay? All right. We can focus, we can create, and then we grow in awareness. It needs the force, the power of thoughts, feelings, intentions, and actions is how love is expressed. I wanted to share with you what Jesus said as a little boy. This is Aquarian chapter 22. A master asked him, what do you say of power? He's a young, like 12, 13-year-old child. And he says, power is the result of force. It is an illusion, nothing more. Force changes not, but power changes as the ethers change. Force is the will of God, and it is omnipotent, and power is that will in manifest directed by breath. Force is God, always is. Power is taking that force and manifesting it through breath, through pointing it, through desire. You understand? Okay. There is power in the winds, power in the waves, power in the lightning stroke, in the human arm, in the eye. The ethers cause these powers to be. The thought of the angels, of man, or other thinking things direct the force. When it has done its work, power is no more. So the power to take the energy of God and mold it to create an experience is what we're talking about. Is that really clear for you guys? Okay. That really clear? Well, I tell you, you know, when we teach this in seminary, that is one of the points that people have a hard time with. The difference between that natural force of God and how it is directed through power, you know. But if you think of potential, and then if you think of manifestation, There's a potential. Now I'm manifesting. Anybody cook? You go into your kitchen, you have much potential, do you not? Are there not pots and pans? Are there not stuff? Potential to do something glorious. But what does it take to make something glorious? It takes the will to come in and gather all the raw potential and actually put stuff together. Some of us have more of that than others in that way. All right. Now we're going to go a little deeper. Jesus said, all men are sons of God, and if they live a holy life, they are always at home with God. They see and understand the works of God, and in his sacred name they can perform these works. The lightnings and the storms are messengers of God, as well as are the sunshine, rain, and dew. The virtues of heavens are in God's hands, and every loyal son may use these virtues and these powers. Man is the delegate of God to do his will on earth. Man can heal the sick, control the spirits of the air, and raise the dead. Because I have the power to do these things is not strange. All men may gain the power to do these things, but they must conquer all passions of the lower self, and they can conquer if they will. Easy, right? Okay. Do you see how that correlates with power? So if we want to begin to move into the space where we can act in love, create direct energy for wonderful, positive things, we have to create a space in our vehicle to do that. We have to be vibrating in such a way that we can see those potentials. Do you see? Let's go back to the kitchen. Patrick can vibrate in such a way that he can go into the kitchen and he can see all manner of potential. I vibrate in such a way that I go into the kitchen and I see peanut butter and chips. Maybe some cheese. That's all I see. I mean, there's nothing in here. See? So I do not have the potential to see the greater, yet he does in that instance. So what Jesus is saying in this moment, you are children of God, but to really live it, you have to rise to the space where you can actually believe and see. And then you have all the powers that God gave to you. So I wanted to go over this quickly because I think it's helpful to us as we're beginning our work with power. When Jesus went through the tests at Heliopolis, which I will not read, I'll paraphrase them for you. You all know he went into Egypt and he said, put me through the test that every man will face. Because I want to know what men face. And this is before he began his service. He's a young man. So this is in the Aquarian, and it's in the chapter the 50s. The first test, he was sleeping, and he had already found his spirit. So the first test, he's sleeping, and some priests snuck into where he was sleeping, and they said, wake up, wake up. This training that you're in right now is not what it says it is. You're in first layer. It's going to get rough in layer 2, 3, and 4. So what I want you to do is I want you to pretend to the priests like you're agreeing with them. And then I will sneak you out of here when the time is right. And it says that Jesus said, deceive the priests. I agreed to be here. I asked to go through all of the tests. Why would I deceive the priests? It doesn't matter if you're right or not. I chose to be here. I will not go there. I won't go there. So he stood in his truth. When we stand in our truth, we stand in our power. When we stand in our truth, we stand in our power. So how often has someone come to you and said, hey, I need you on my team over here. You're going to get in trouble. You don't know what you're doing. You made a bad decision. I need you to agree with me here. And if we get pulled into that, we've just given where's our power gone? Into them. They now have our power. With me? The second test was very similar. Jesus is again in training, and he's in a place of solitude where they've left him. And this is part of the training, y'all. The Egyptian mystery school was really difficult. Many of us mastered it, and guess where you are today? Back on the earth. Go figure. So anyway, he is in there, And he is in solitude. And again, they come through a secret door. This time there's two priests. And they say to him, they're going to kill you. Oh, my God, you have no idea. They sacrifice human beings. They sacrifice kids. Oh, my God, they're going to kill you. What are they introducing now? Fear. Fear for his life. If you do what we say, we will save you. And at this moment, he has not felt anything to be afraid of by the priests that are teaching him. He hasn't been afraid of them. And so he has to go within and say, measure what is true for me. What is true for me is I do not sense anything they're saying. What is true for me is they are operating in fear. What is true for me is I operate in love. Therefore, no. And he stood in his truth again. And that's an easy one, isn't it? When people say, come get afraid with me. And we go, let me see. I don't think I'm going to get afraid with you. Or we go, yes, I'm going to get afraid with you. The minute we do that, who has our power? The person that asked us to get afraid with them. Okay? The third lesson, 1, 2, 3. So this is the test. Someone comes to him and he's studying and he's in a beautiful library and there's all manner of knowledge available to him and he's really enjoying it. He's still a young man. He loves all this stuff, you know. He's in heaven. And someone comes to him and says, hey, you're so smart, dude. You're smarter than any book in here. Why waste your time? You're young. Look, I can help you. We'll create a school. You'll teach. You will be the most famous person on the earth. And people will come and they will learn from you. And this idea of a Messiah, I know you've been thinking about it, but really, it's probably not that big a deal, But this is the sure path. You do what I say. And I guarantee you riches, wealth, and fame beyond your imaginings. And you know what it says? It says that Jesus wrestled with his ego for many days because that was a toughie. How many of you have had somebody come and say, hey, if you just do this, man, I can really catapult you into your wildest dreams. And if he had gone there, whose life would he have been living? Theirs. Because he's always lived in love. He never wanted fame. He was renowned when he taught, but he never wanted fame. But it was a tough one because you're working so hard, your head's down, your feet are moving, you're trying to do what God wants you to do so much. And someone comes to you and says, well, this would be so much easier and you'll reach so many more people and it'll be amazing. God, can I do it? And oftentimes it's silence. What do you want to do? Is it in you to do it? Silence. Then if you say, God, your will be done, whatever is right for me, you get the no. That's not in your heart to do. You guys got it? This is knowing your truth. This is standing in your truth. This is being your truth. The next one is, this was a test where he's at a party, everybody's partying, they're drinking, they're having a good time, and a little beggar child comes in and they ridicule the child and send him away without food. And then a hooker comes in, a prostitute, and then they shame her and send her away. And an old man comes in who is broken and has no food, and they shame him and send him away. And Jesus is watching all of this. He's just watching because he doesn't really know these people that are partying. I mean, they're part of the temple, but the priests are there, but what's happening? And then they come to him and they say, come on, let's party. You need to get out and enjoy yourself. Come follow us, do what we're doing. Let's really enjoy. And he came to his senses, he came to his voice, and he said, you know what, guys? What you have done to those 3 people, I don't agree with. And they said, oh, they don't matter. He goes, no, I cannot separate myself from them. They do matter. And I have watched this occur, but now I'm going to go find them. And I'm going to give them some food, and I'm going to help them because they don't deserve what you have done to them. You see? And so he took his truth at the cost of being exiled from the school. Because he literally told them, no, I do not play that game. And before he could find the people, his masters came and got him, and they graduated him from that test. And it was the philanthropy test, but it was seeing love and humanity and not diminishing love and humanity. And where in the story that I just gave you, where was the power? Who had the power in that story of belittling people? The partiers. And the people that came in, did they have any power? They had no power. They had already been whittled down. They didn't have any power in that society. But Jesus did not see them as powerless. He saw them as his brothers and sisters, that he could help. So in that test, I think most of us would be awake to that test, don't you? Because we're in a society that loves to give and loves to share to the best of our abilities, to the best of what we can do. But he stood in his truth. All right, here's the one that everybody goes through. And it was the toughest test Jesus ever had to go through. He was at the end of his training. He only had 2 more tests, and this was one of them. He's in a beautiful library. There's beautiful books, and a beautiful woman comes in, girl. And she sits down and plays a harp, and she's Jewish. And she plays the songs of Israel. And he falls madly in love with her. He takes one look at her, and he falls head over heels. And she falls madly in love with him. And it comes to a moment where he is literally torn in half. And you can read it. It's will make you cry. How much he wrestled. He said, I have followed the love of God every moment of my life. And now I see this beautiful creature who should not exist. She's like heaven on earth. Can I give up everything for her? Can I pour myself into her? And do you realize that everyone who falls in love, that is exactly what you do? You fall in love and you take all the power that you have as a human being and you pour it into the person you're mating with. You give them all your power. You're perfect. Oh my God, you're perfect. You have all my power, all my power. I'll do anything you want. And then the other guy does it to you. If you're a girl, your guy gives it to you. It's mutual. They have your power and you have their power. And you feel that that's what love asks you to do. And then after a year or so, you realize that they're bossing you around. And they feel like you're bossing them around. And you finally have to get to the point where you pull your power back from each other. Do you understand what I'm saying? I had a really dear friend many eons ago, 100 years. And I knew her young, and then she was working with the company I was with, and then someone came in. She's really sweet. She lived with me for a little bit. Someone came in from out of town, one of the fellas, and, we always try to entertain the guys when they came in, take them someplace. Atlanta's big. Take them someplace, give them some dinner, And none of the girls could go except her. So she went, she met him, and madly in love. Fell madly in love. Both of them. And she came, and I think within a month she had moved to the West Coast. Packed up and moved, said, I'm out of here, because that's where he was working. She told me many years later, she said, Cindy, it's many years later, Cindy, I woke up one day. I woke up and I said, I'm living in California. I've got 2 kids. How did I get here? How did this happen? She finally got her power back. She finally came to awareness of who she was. Not that she regretted anything, but do you hear what I'm saying? Her power was so given to him that whatever he, and I'm sure she had his. And then wake up time. I need my power back if I'm going to get back on track with my life. And she got her power back, and my goodness, she got back on track with her life. She was skilled and educated to do a certain job, which she hadn't been doing. Got back in the world, got back into her education, did her job, and got her power back. But do you see how complete it happens and you don't even realize it? What did Jesus do? He said, I can't. I just can't. It broke his heart. He said, I can't. And she left crying, and he was given the prize of love, that he knew that the divine love was greater than the human love. I'm not telling you not to fall in love. I'm just saying, do you see how easily your power shifts? Do you see how easily that you can not be aware of how you give your power away? And if we're going to have power, we need to stand in our truth. Standing in our truth is standing in our power. The last lesson was about, he was working in a place where they were preserving bodies. He was Egyptian, so the mummification process. And he got to see several people who were dealing with transition, the sorrow of transition, and then a beautiful little girl who, he asked the little girl, she was in the funeral march, and there was a wounded bird, so she went and got the wounded bird. And he said, "Sweetie, why did you leave your mother to go get the wounded bird? That was your dead mom was there." And she goes, "My mom taught me that the feelings of the living and the emotional sprays are just illusions. But while there is life, there is love. And there, in the eternal love, we will all feel the love of God." I'm paraphrasing, but, and Jesus said, "I've searched for the truth all my life, and out of the mouth of a child you have told me." There is an eternity in which we are all love. There is an eternity in which we are all love. And he was graduated as the Christ from that school. Just in these little things, can you see how if we stay in our power as the world tries to knock us off, we are actually healing that carnal self that is self-focused? As we stay in our power, we're healing it. When I stay in my truth without asking for your agreement, I can create a space in which we can meet. And when you stand in your truth without asking me for an agreement, that space can become a space in which things can be accepted, supported, and compromised. Compromise is not about giving up. It's about taking turns. That's all. It's your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. We don't give up. We take turns. That is a huge reason that we have 32 years together. You can say and believe and think anything you want, and in the beginning, he couldn't. That was not allowed. He had to agree with me. What? I think you should find the door. And I was very powerful in my grandioseness. You don't agree with that, you need to find someplace else. But Spirit was working with me really carefully. When I got comfortable in not agreeing with him, when I got comfortable in standing in my truth, I could say, "This is my truth, Pat. This is my truth, Patrick. I don't care what you think. Like it, I don't care. This is where I'm going to stand. Deal, don't deal, I don't care." And then he would say, "Well, this is my truth." Great, that's your truth. Now we have a space between us where we can just accept we're different. We can cooperate, whatever we needed to do. But neither one of us shifted our position for the other. And that allows love, guys. Because I held my power but did not power out over him. He held his power but did not power out over me. That allows love. Is that easy to see? True, right? And here's the thing, just what I just did, y'all, listen to this. Most of us want the other to share our truth. Do you share my truth, Patrick? And most of us want the other to validate us, which I just did. Isn't that true, Patrick? Which, it really doesn't matter if he validates or not. This is true for me. You see, so when we ask someone to validate our truth, where's our power? They got it. Anyone you're asking to validate you has your power. Just know that right off the top. Okay? All right. So, when I stand in my truth, I stand in my power. When I try to sustain a truth outside of myself, my power is outside of myself. And y'all, sometimes things will work for a while that's not mine anymore. It's not mine anymore. Get your power back. It's not yours anymore. It might have been yours for that minute, but it's not yours anymore. Get your power back. Your power and your ideas and your wanting to create things may shift and change over time as well. So, when you know what is true for you, you can choose again, and we stand in what we know. So I just have two little things I wanted to share with you about Jesus. And these are other examples of how he acted. He's been in the other world as a little child learning, and he finds his way home. And he has not seen his mother or his family since he was 12 years old. Jesus goes to Nazareth. His mother's heart was filled with joy. She made a feast for him, inviting all her kindred and her friends. Jesus' brothers were not pleased that such attention should be paid to one they deemed a sheer adventurer, and they went not to the feast. They laughed their brother's claims to scorn. They called him indolent, ambitious, vain, a worthless fortune hunter, searcher of the world for fame, who, after many years, returns to the mother's home with neither gold nor any wealth. Those are the brothers speaking to the men. Ouch. Would that hurt you? Would you try to talk to them? Would you try to bring them on your side? Would you try to explain things to them? Would you try to think about your family? What would you do with your family? Would you try to counsel them? Would you try to make them understand? This is what Jesus did. Jesus called aside his mother and her sister Miriam and told them of his journey to the east. He told them of the lessons he had learned and the works he had done. To the others, he told not the story. Even his brothers, even those that are closest to you, when they do not have the capacity to receive your truth, why try to convince them of it? They did not have the capacity to receive it. And we're told later in the New Testament and the books beyond Jesus' life that his family got involved in the mission. So some of his brothers were active with the early Christian movement. So there you have that. But do you see the humbleness of his behavior? He didn't walk around telling people what to do. He didn't walk around saying his truth and saying you need to agree with my truth. He simply spoke his truth and allowed people to make their decisions. And if there was not a receptive vehicle, why? Why bother? I want you to remember that at Thanksgiving and Christmas. When your extended family comes and they say, you go to what church? You don't have to teach them anything. You just have to say, we love God at that church. Don't you love God at your church? We're good. We're golden. We love Jesus too. You love Jesus? Golden. Perfect. No problem. We are, what's for dinner? You don't have to walk away, but you don't have to convince. Hold your power. This other example I was guided to share was, again, kind of early. He is speaking in the Samaritan area, and you guys know that the Jewish people and the Samaritans did not mix. They were of the same DNA heritage, somewhat, but they did not mix. There was a history. He is speaking, and the ruler came out to see Jesus, and Jesus said, "Behold, honored men of all Samaria, the men ordained to lead the people in the way of right." He is honoring the man immediately. He's honoring this man in his truth. This is your truth. You are the leader of them all. "I am come to help, not hinder your work. There are two classes of men, those who would build the human race and those upon the sure foundation of justice, truth, equality, and right, and those who would destroy the temple where the Spirit dwells and bring their fellow men down to beggary and crime. The holy brotherhood of right must stand united in the stirring conflict of the hour, no matter whether they be Jews, Samaritan, Assyrians, or Greek. They must stamp down beneath their feet all strife, jealousy, hatred, and demonstrate brotherhood." And then he said to the ruler, in front of everybody, "United we stand, divided we fall." And then he took the ruler by the hand, and a love light filled their souls, and all the people were amazed. This is an example of power honoring power. There was a common thread. The ruler wanted good for the people. Jesus wants good for the people. The man wants to do right. Jesus wants to do right. There's a commonality. The power honoring power. Doesn't mean they're going to live together. Doesn't mean that Jesus is going to move to Samaria. Doesn't mean anything like that. Power honoring power. When you can stand in your truth and be a light with someone standing in their truth, and they are a light, the light is exponentially created. Got it? All right. We're going to learn this month how to take our power and mold our energy, but we cannot really learn how to do that until we understand what is true for me and where does my power lie. What is true for me and where does my power lie? This is a White Eagle book of prayers. It's published in the UK. This is a prayer that was given We meet together in the unity of spirit and brotherly love, aspiring to the spiritual realms of wisdom. May we all learn something of the beauty of your beauty, God, and carry forth into world of action the will and power to express in human life the beauty of that which we find in the communion with Spirit. Give us the will and power to express in human life the beauty of that which we find in communion with Spirit. Is that beautiful? What if that's our goal? To have the power to express. Would we watch our words a little bit? Would we watch our thoughts a little bit? Do we really want to create what we think? Do we really want to create what we speak? The power that you have is immense. How you direct it is your choice. All right. Did you relate to the lessons of Jesus? Yes. Do you now have an idea of how to hold your center? What is true for me? What has my experience been to this moment? Then that is true for me. What do I feel in God? That is true for me. That is true for me. Got it? Let's anchor it in. So let's go within. Let's just breathe. Father, Mother God, we open our hearts again. And I ask that a beautiful column of light engulf this space, and that each one create a beautiful column of light for themselves. And I would invite you all just to feel that light, feel the color, feel the love of God flowing through you. And let your focus go to your heart. Imagine that you can just move into a space in your heart and begin to image in a beautiful garden that's in your heart center. The garden of your heart. And take a breath and feel the peace. Feel the love. You are the perfect child of God. And as you stand in this space, you may become aware of an idea, a person, a situation where you have given your power away. We don't want to do the broad brush and pull all your power back. Just look at one thing, just one thing. Let it come forward. I lovingly recall the power, the attention and the thought that I have given to this. I recall the power I have given to this, and I pull the power back to myself. I ask that God's love now fill this situation, this person, this occurrence. Father, fill this space with your love, and let divine healing, order, whatever has to happen, happen. Let the divine move through this situation. And let it go. Let your focus come back to you. Standing in the garden of your heart. My truth. I am child of God. My power will express that. Feel the peace around you. Feel the angels with you. Take a breath. And gently begin to bring your awareness back into your body, sitting on your chair, back in your column of light. Father, Mother God, we love you so. Let us walk that path of heaven on earth. And so it is. Take a breath. Gently open your eyes. All right, y'all, I walked you through a very simple exercise just then. Do you know you can do that when you're sitting in someone's office? Give me a minute. I got to get my power back. When you're sitting at your desk, when you're sitting behind your computer, it doesn't take long. Give me a minute. I'm going to get my power back. And you can get your power back right from the person sitting in front of you. They don't know it. Ask God love to fill them. Now you can enter into a new relationship. How simple is this? All right, this is step 1 of learning about your power. Say, "Hey, God."